Hi, shalom, shalom. Good day to you, wherever you are in the world. My name is Keskia Yisrael. I'm a high performance coach, and my background started out in the fitness and high performance for athletes arena. Now, today I'm going to share with you some ideas and thoughts about fat loss. I'm going to share with you some ideas and thoughts about being fit after age 35, age 40, the methods that I've learned. And this has come about because of a question a few times, not just one question, but several questions that I've been asked lately. But one question in particular from a young up and coming fitness trainer and physiotherapist. I received a text at about 9:30, 10 one night, and the young man asked me, what are my best fat loss programs if I have a problem, sharing it. And I welcome the opportunity to help in that arena. But I think that our industry needs these answers, and there's a sense of missing a direction. The direction in the industry is in terms of weight loss and longevity. There's a missing element here in Guyana, South America, and I think it's something that's prevalent as well in the Caribbean and in North America. But I know some of the experts, they are taking care of that area of the industry in terms of educating. Now, what are my best fat loss programs? Now, before I give you those ideas, I want to give you some background. I started out in the fitness and conditioning arena around 2004, 2005. And I was providing fitness services for basketball players here in Guyana, South America. And I provided free strength and conditioning services from around 2004, 2005 until I decided to do a fitness class to start a fitness business in 2009. So I paid dues for about 5 years providing fitness services. Then my first PT, personal training client, came in the year 2010. So coming from a background of training national basketball players, and then my next area that I touched was I was helping FIFA football referees prepare for their annual test. I had a group of referees that had me train them, and I did that for free as well for a period of time, and they all passed. I think it was the Cooper test, all of the tests so that they can be licensed as international FIFA football referees. So that background allowed me to now begin to work with persons that were looking to solve the problem of weight loss, particularly fat loss, not just weight loss, because there's a difference. And what I did at that time, my interests was working with athletes and some of you have looked at my some of the previous videos. You know that I came from a background where I was very disappointed in the athletic arena, how athletes in basketball treated the game when it comes to preparation. And it's in my book as well, Go for Glory, book 1. By the way, by the will of the Creator, I will be having 2 books out in 2 years, in the next 2 years. So look forward for that. Go for Glory 2, Go for Glory 3, and the angles, you will see it when that time comes. Now, working in helping persons that wanted to solve the problem of fat loss, all I did was use the same methods that I was using to improve athletes. Mind you, I grew up in the southern, or just not really the south, but from the capital city of Georgetown, a southern town which is called Linden. And where I grew up, it was hilly. So as a kid, I saw many of the athletes, football players, basketball athletes, sprinters, even distance runners, middle distance runners, they use the hills as conditioning. And it was what I call now inefficient training, because we used to have to go carry fetch water down at a spring. So in my early teenage years, I would have two buckets, approximately 3.5 gallons of water, and we would walk for about half a mile to the location to fetch water, then down a hill. And then while the water was being filled, or sometimes we filled the water up, I would do that, and then I would go run hills on the sand, so that I could work on my endurance and speed. But I didn't know what I was doing. But right in my backyard, over the fence, I could just literally jump over the fence. There was a gym. And I'm talking about and this was in the 90s, not the nice fancy gyms you all know of today, but iron, where men stink and sweaty, and the steel plates and barbells was rusty, but men lift iron. And I saw bodybuilders and powerlifters primarily. And the prevailing idea was that persons who lifted were strong. It wasn't that, there was no thought about functional fitness and all the things that you are aware of today. But men squat, what you call the deadlift, we call it the live lift now. Pull-ups and press overhead. And particularly they did the bench press too, because that's the thing that so many guys, talk about, bench press. Yeah, I saw people did curls, but I recall more men squatting and doing the deadlift and pull-ups more than I saw curls. And men were strong. So sometimes you would sit in the fork of a tree, my brother and I, and we looked over the fence. And then early mid-teenage years, myself and two friends, we frequented the gym maybe 2-3 times a week. We didn't have to pay, so it was a good thing. I remember squatting. I was a skinny, scrawny kid, and I squatted, I think, 205 pounds, 1 or 2 reps. But it took time, and there was a guy that he guided us. But as youngsters, we were looking at what the older men were doing and trying to emulate them. So to some degree, we had our own way of doing things, but it was haphazard. But there was some learning that took place there. I'm sure that I got stronger. I knew that. But as the years went on, working with athletes, I used the same methods to work with persons that had an interest in weight loss and fat loss. So they would do sprints. They would do what they call today high intensity interval training. And we built the repetition, my team, from around 2010 to about 2015, as here in Ghana, South America, as the guys that would get you in shape faster. And the prevailing idea then was a good fitness program was one where you kill the client and they were sore the next day. And then they would come and, they would tell everyone, hey, my trainer killed me, man. I love the training session. And I was unaware that at the same time, while we were attracting certain personality types, we were repelling certain folks, because the prevailing idea, and it came from the North American influence and training, that no pain, no gain was the way to go. But then as after 2015, I was about 34, 35, I started getting injuries. And I got heel pain, I got knee pains, I started getting shoulder pains. There was one time I was playing basketball, and one of my peers, he said, I scored 3 straight jumpers on him, and he said, the next time you do this to me, I'm going to hurt you. You're not going to embarrass me. And I didn't listen. I went for it. And this shoulder, I was out for about 8 weeks. I couldn't lift this arm up above my head. And then it happened with this shoulder, and this, eventually I had to get rotator cuff surgery. Now, the kind of training that I was doing and giving to clients, it was very intense, and it was consistently intense. Particularly the CrossFit methodology. And the results, yes, you was getting great results, but after a while, people were running from you. But then I started working with older folk, older men and women, and I realized that those methods were not transferring over to helping those folks improve. So I learned in working with a client over 70 that lifting weights, same multi-joint exercise, and in the rep ranges 5 to 10 worked well, and right after, walking about 15-20 minutes right after. And sometimes I got this client, he was one of my mentors, but I got him to run eventually. But somehow that transferred with adequate rest. Never, nothing was ever to failure. So we did a lot of dumbbell work. And then while we did the dumbbell works, in between, what we did planks, we did push-ups, and then got off the floor. And somehow this worked. It was different. But I only recognized it after documenting it for a period of time. The only persons I used to document religiously for were athletes. And I saw a pattern of what worked. And also I began to see this doesn't transfer to this body type. For example, I learned that taller athletes, back squats were much harder for them and they were weak in it. But if I let them do front squats, their ability to jump, shoot, sprint, it really transferred. It helped them. And then I learned also, when I added pull-ups for fast bowlers, their throwing and their bowling was a lot better, but they got leaner around the midsection, and we didn't do lots of sit-ups, the regular thing people talk about, crunches. So there were certain things that I began to see because of following the patterns and documenting it. So in 2016, with a team of qualified young men, what we did, we documented every program for every single client. We had approximately 96 clients over that period of time in 1996. No, 2016. I don't know, where did 1996 come from? Don't know why. But in charting the course of every client, and then we did something. A lot of our clients somehow were around my age group. I was attracting persons just a little bit older, mostly, or a little younger. So there was the complaint of time and constantly being tired. So we applied, we changed the game in how we delivered programs. We started giving 45-minute programs, and also we started using intermittent fasting protocols. For some persons, we had them do 12 hours intermittent fasting, and some we had them do 16 hours. And what we found, people slept better and they got in shape faster. And there's another thing that happened. We did something that's called personalized group fitness. And my business coach, he helped me to coin the term personalized team training. Shout out to Vishnu Durga for that. And what we found, persons that train in a small group setting, they remain committed longer and they got faster results. Mind you, before then we did spinning, we did duathlons, we did all kind of crazy challenges, 200 squats and 50 pull-ups and 100 push-ups, lots of numbers. But people started having issues, and to arrest the loss of clientele, we began to adjust. And this is what we found up until now that really works. And here it is. I'll give you the treasures. In working with persons over 35, 40, 45, 50, even in their 60s, intermittent fasting really works. And I'll tell you this, it really works for men that say that they're tired a lot. Intermittent fasting, 12 to 16 hours, say most days of the week. So if you stop eating at, say, 8 o'clock at night, your next meal, you can eat between 12 and 8 the next day. But during that period of time, you could drink tea, but no fruits, no food, no cooked food. We allowed nuts. And sometimes for certain persons, we had them use one meal a day, pretty much Ori of Mekela's diet, the warrior diet plan. Some men were intrigued by the idea using the warrior diet name, and that helped several persons. Then we found that when we had people work through a full range of motion, when we had people use the kettlebell to swing, and Michael Granger, certified Strong First instructor, came to Ghana and he taught us how to swing correctly using the Strong First methods, and he taught us how to do the Turkish get-up. Those were game changers for clients. Having them go to the floor and then work standing up often, that really helped persons. They were stronger. And then women were telling us that their husbands were stronger. Incidentally, women were even saying, my husband is better in the bedroom. They lost weight. Their confidence soared. And then when we employed more time for assessing and also setting standards for persons, like, let me give you an example. When we assessed you, say you did 8 pull-ups or 3 pull-ups, and then we said, okay, good, in 6 weeks or in 8 weeks, the goal is to get you to 10 pull-ups. And you did, say you did the live lift, what they call the deadlift, and you did 205 pounds, 1 rep. And we set a target for a man to move to 275 or 305. When we set targets, somehow the type of person it worked with, because it didn't work with everyone. But we started working not only with athletes, but we started working with business professionals. And that had a carryover effect where persons were much more engaged along with the team setting. So we found that going to the floor, standing worked well. We found that doing some of the same workouts over again, instead of the constant change, really had a carryover where persons improved much faster. You know, prior to 2016, what we did challenge after challenge after challenge. And also what we did was constantly changed workouts. And the market was very fickle. If you did the same workout, there were persons who were saying, oh, today is boring. But what I found, the best results came about with repeatable workouts. And I was doing what I was administering, but when I changed, I found I got stronger. Going to the floor, I mentioned that. When we had persons carry load, and I got this from strength coach Dan John. When we had persons to begin doing what is called farmer's carry, and in the rock carrying loads, what we saw was that men got really stronger and women got really stronger. We saw that men and women, there were some women that got pregnant after years of not getting pregnant with the methods that we were using. I don't know what really happened, but there are some who gave us credit for the training and said, well, they improved in fertility, maybe. I don't know, but that helped. So when I spoke to this young man who asked the question, what works best for Fatloss, I took him on this journey of where I came from and where my team we came from, because I started out alone first and then I started to build a team. And it was all over the place. But now, doing all of that allowed me to be able to see what works better than other things. And I will tell you this. Men and women need to be stronger. When you're stronger, everything gets better. When you deadlift, live lift we call it, when you overhead press, when you squat, when you carry heavy load, and when you go to the floor and get up, it really changes the spectrum of everything. Now, there are people who look for the aesthetics of looking good. You can look good and be weak. You're a better man and a better woman if you're stronger. And it has a carryover effect to everything that you do. A strong man on the job, a stronger man and a stronger woman, they have more energy, they have more enthusiasm, they have more confidence. And those things, they can be manufactured easily. They work better in teams when they're much more energetic, when they're more enthusiastic, and when they're more confident. And that goes for men and women. Now, for children with short attention spans, what I saw is doing the same thing today, getting them stronger, is the game changer. Now, you can make them run, you can make them flick, whatever. Getting them stronger, everything gets better. I saw it with young athletes. I saw it with young children that had low self-esteem, low self-confidence, where they begin to get stronger and leaner. And, for the young males, when they get a chance to test their abilities with other males, it really, really helped them. I would tell youngsters, like, go to school and with your friends, get a push-up contest. See who could do the most push-ups. And man, when they see that they're winning, they change. Jump squats. or the not the jump squat, the broad jump as far as you can. And here in Ghana, that's not a staple in the culture. We don't have enough physical contests. So we have a lot of weak men, weak women, and weak children. But now our attempt is to change that. We are working on influencing changes in that. So fat loss, weight loss, fast, intermittent fasting, especially after age 35. Make people train, going to the floor and get up, and you don't have to make them do lots of impact work. Most people think that long runs is the staple. They have their cardio day, and then they have their bodybuilding protocol day, which is one day you do biceps, next day you do chest, another day you do, like Don John says, liver and stomach day. Train the whole body. And train the whole body for strength first, and then you can add other things. And every year cycle and program so that persons go back to strength and they keep their capability to go to the floor, do work, and get off the floor. And finally, as I said, with the eldest person that I worked with, after training, walking seems to do something that it allows you to think, and it somehow has a carryover where persons walk better and they lose fat a lot faster. And I'm talking about after lifting, walking 15, 20 minutes or beyond. So that's the best that I found thus far. And I hope that this has value for you wherever you are in the world. So take care. This is Keskuya Yisrael, high performance coach for top end performance training systems. Stay well. Shalom, shalom.